Hello, Monarchs. Welcome to the third video for lesson 7.8. Ooh, I'll zoom out. That's a little close. Zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. If you have not done so already, please go back and watch the first two videos because we went through the first four examples on those. This last video, we will go through these last two examples. So now we are doing the same thing. You can see we have inputs. We have our x, we have our parent function. So we will be plugging in these x values everywhere we see an x in our parent function. So the x this time is an exponent. So our x's we are plugging in will be exponents, okay? It'll be the exponent that we are plugging in. So for -2, we would have 1 times 2, and then I'm not going to plug in an x. I now have a -2 for my x. So I have a -2 for my x. Okay, so you will likely need to do these in Desmos because you know we can't mess with our negative exponents, right? So if we put that on Desmos, we would see we would get. So if we were to put that on Desmos, we would see we got 0.25 or 1/4. I'm going to do 0.25 because for me that's easier to graph than 1/4. Okay. If we put in a -1 for x on Desmos, you would see that we would get 0.5. So we'd get 1/2. If we put a 0 in on Desmos, we would get a 1. If we put in a 1 on Desmos, you would see we'd get 2. And if we put a 2 in on Desmos, we would get 4. Okay. So now we graph these values. So I want to do -2, 0.25. So I go to -2 and I go up about 1/4 of the way up to 1. I know that's difficult to do, but that is what we need to do. Then I do -1 and I go to 0.5. So it's about halfway up to +1. Then I have 0, 1, 1, 2, and 2, 4. Now I draw my line through my points, and that is how my graph should look. Okay, that is an exponential graph. It's because my x is an exponent, okay? Again, I would always use Desmos for this. Please come to the Zoom. I can share my screen and show you guys how to get a table on Desmos, which is exactly what we are doing, okay? For the next example, again, I'm going to put it on Desmos, but just to show you guys where we are substituting, again, here's my x's. And I will be subbing those in for my x, which is right there. Okay, so I'm going to put this on Desmos and make my table. 1 second. Okay, so when I put this on Desmos, you would see with -2, my y would be a 12. Okay, with a -1, my y would be a 6. So I have -1, 6. With a 0, my y would be 3. So I would do 3. With a 1, I get another decimal. It's going to be 1.5. And with my 2, I get 0.75. Okay. Now that I have all these down, I want to start graphing so I can graph these different points. So I have -2, 12. I go to -2. There is no 12. So we're just going to go all the way down here to about where 12 would be. Oh, that's -12. I'm supposed to go up top. -2 up to +12 would be up here, right? There we go. I have -1, 6, 0, 3, 1, 1.5. So I go halfway between 1 and 2. And then 2, 0.75. So I go 3/4 of the way up to 1. Okay. Now that I have this drawn, I can draw my line through my points. And that's a very poorly drawn line, but you get the point. That is what the graph should look like. Okay. So like I said, I would make sure to put these on Desmos and use Desmos to figure these out. They will create a table for you. So please attend the Zoom so I can show you guys how to do that. Okay. Thank you guys for watching, and please stay tuned for the homework help video for worksheet